pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Good morning.
And thank you once again for signing up for the Business Data Laboratory Data Analytics Workshop. And of course, this will be the last workshop we'll be holding for the year 2022. And again, we appreciate our students and participants who have been part of our journey. Thank you very much. And okay, over to the agenda of today. Okay, it's important for us to understand why we should choose a career as a data analyst. Why a career as a data analyst? That will be the first thing we discuss. Then, why should it be now? Why should you take that action from now? Then, why learn from us? Why learn from the Business Data Laboratory Limited? Then we get to meet our instructors, after which we move to the business of today. Why a career as a data analyst? It's important to first understand who a data analyst is and what a data analyst does. What does a data analyst do? Basically, to a layman, a data analyst collects data to make sense out of it, maybe to make better decisions. So the first step is a source and gather data. There are a variety of data sources. We have data from the government sources, from schools, from the social media. We have different kinds of data. We have some in the form of text, in form of numbers, some in form of pictures, videos, and the likes. So that's the first thing a data analyst does. It source and gather data on which they want to perform the analytics. Then the second one is they clean and organize the data. We can't make sense out of the data, which makes it required for us to clean it and organize it in a conformable structure for the analysis. And after which, use the data to reach meaningful conclusions. After having organized the data, we need to use it to reach meaningful conclusions. Then after which we communicate the results through visuals and reports. We communicate our results to our audience, the stakeholders, the business owners, and the audience, the persons who are concerned, who need to understand it. That's why it should be in form of visuals, because visuals are easily interpreted and go in a fast way being understood than text. So to the next thing, why a career now as a data analyst? As in Nigeria, as of today, salaries range from 168,000 naira to 481,000 naira for data analysts. And it even depends on the level of experience that you have. For more experienced data analysts, they can even earn more. Then second thing you should consider is we have the remote and hybrid work option. Thanks to COVID, now, especially for data analysts, most companies don't want you to be on site every time. That's why we have the hybrid work option. The max will be, okay, you should be physical, you should come on site maybe twice in a week or so. So it's possible for you to collaborate this with the other roles you'll be doing, whether you have some other jobs that you're doing, or you have the remote option for working. Then we have freelancing. You can also freelance. We have sites like Upwork and the likes where you can work from anywhere you have and freelance for the company or anyone. Or if you don't want all these, then you can as well start your own consulting firm where you'll be giving data analytics advices to people after having analyzed their data. Why learn from Business Data Laboratory? Business Data Laboratory Limited is a consulting firm located in Abuja, Nigeria. We offer services in data science, product development, research, and training. In the pre-COVID-19 period, we had in-person classes, but I've converted these classes to online virtual classes now. Though we still do in-person trainings, but basically on demand. Our classes, I mean our virtual classes, we have Zoom meetings where we meet our students to pass the lessons and classes to them. Then we share documents to them for the classes. Then we record our classes in case anyone misses a class. We have the recordings which we send to them after each classes. Then we communicate through the email and chat messenger. Then we also have the weekly classes that's for the demanded physical class. Then also weekend online classes for a recap of what has been done during the week. Then our curriculum is skill tailored. We run the skill tailored curriculum that ensures you get the right skill that you need. Then we have dedicated and supportive instructors who work hard to ensure we get the message. Then we have this flexible schedule. Our schedule is flexible so that it will be okay for any kind of person, regardless of where you are learning from and what you're doing. Then we have virtual classes. I mean, you can attend our classes from any part of the world where you are. Then we also have portfolio ready projects, such that at the end of the day, you have a project you can showcase to your clients or the company where you want to apply to as a data analyst. Let's meet our instructors. The first of our instructors is Bidikisu Wumi Olatunji. She has an MSc in information technology. She's a data scientist and also an R Shiny developer. She's a certified R Studio instructor in Tidyverse and R Shiny. And she's as well a certified Scrum Master, product owner, and an agile coach. The next of our instructors is Amayiraho Robinson from Uganda. He has a BSc in statistics. He's also a data scientist and an R Shiny developer, and as well a certified R Studio instructor in Tidyverse. The next of our instructors today is Adejumo Ridwan Suleiman. He has a BSc in statistics, is a data scientist and an R Shiny developer, and also a Udemy instructor. The next one is Faida Bukola Bilu. She has a BSc in statistics. She's a data scientist and an R Shiny developer, and as well as certified Scrum Master. Now over to the business of today.
Okay. Thank you so much, Fahida, for that awesome introduction. We're really grateful for that. Thank you so much. Okay, I want to say good morning to you all. So we are really grateful to have you here, and we're grateful to all our students and participants all over the year. We appreciate your support and always being there for us. Thank you so much. So without taking much of our time, we want to look at how you can really achieve your career as a data analyst using different tools. But today we're going to focus on R for data analysis. So as a data analyst, you should look forward to being a multilingual. What I mean by that is that you should know how to use different programming languages. That is the best thing for you now in this current year or atmosphere that we have now. You wouldn't want to stick with just R. We're also going to look at Python tomorrow for data analysis. So our courses are always tailored to you acquiring the skills that will lead you to getting the job that you wanted. You can even freelance. You can do your own consulting gigs anytime, anywhere, and how much you want it. It all depends. So I would want to request Faida to stop sharing the screen while I go into the business of today. We don't want to take much of our time. Okay. Okay, so today we're going to start with trying to understand the language we're talking about when we talk about R. So from the email that we've shared yesterday and today, I'm expecting that we all have R and RStudio installed. So kindly confirm if you have your R and RStudio installed before we go into the main theme for today. Okay. 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 Thank you so much for confirming that. So I'll go into my slide once again. So today we're using R. And if you look at my slide, this is the kind of report that you can look forward to when you're creating. This slide was actually created using R.
I can't, sorry, I can't see the slides.
You can't see my slide? Okay, I'll stop sharing and start all over again. Okay. Okay, so can you see my slides now?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so this slide actually was created using R. So these are some of the things that we would be teaching while in our really the data analytics class. So we're going to look at the beauty of R, using it for data analysis. So part of the beauty is that it's flexible to learn. So if you've gotten your R and RStudio installed, then we'll go into the housekeeping today. So we're going to look at the intro, which we've done. Then the workshop materials will be shared after this class today. So the takeaway now is going to be, we're introducing R to you. We're going to look at data analysis using R. Then we'll take the Q&A. So we're not going to bore you too much with all the grammars in R, but you would know that, okay, R is easier for you to learn, but there's no skills that you have to learn. You just have to practice. So, but don't be scared about anything, but I want to show you something beautiful here before we go into the black and white screen and the colors as well. So what is R? So R is a programming language and a software environment for statistical computing and graphics. So it is also used in the field of data science for data analysis, visualization, and statistical modeling. So all these are just talking about your first stage of getting your data, cleaning your data, making sense of your data, and communicating the insights that you've gotten from your data to your stakeholders. So all this data analysis, visualization, statistical modeling, is all about analysis, making sense of your data, trying to interpret what your data is trying to tell you. So that is what R is used for. So another beautiful thing about it is, why would we be using R? R is open source, and it's supported by a large community of users who dedicate their time to contribute to its development and support online resources as well. So they have so many blogs and tutorials online there to help you get through your journey as a data analyst as somebody using R. So also it offers a variety of packages for data manipulation, machine learning, and visualization. So, and it's also widely used in the academia and industry. So it's not restricted just to the academics, no. It's also used in the industry by different organizations, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. They all have adopted this language and they are using it for different data science modeling and all this decision-making information, getting insight. So they all use that. So it all depends on your network, who you have in your network, on your social media. You'll see all of them from different organizations using this R language. So R is also very flexible and allow users to create custom functions. So it helps you to reproduce your work, your task, any task. Sorry, I want to kind of employ to mute kindly mute your microphone, please. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So R is highly flexible and allows users to create custom functions that helps you to reproduce your task. It makes it easier. So you can always do the same task with the same function or packages as easy as you want it to be. So it's so easy for you to use. So the first thing that we checked was that you've already installed R, and also we've installed the RStudio IDE. So let's look at the difference between these two. So R, when you install your R, it's kind of black and white DOS interface that we're used to in the olden days. It's not that interesting like what we'll have now. We want to see colors, we want to see an environment that makes it easier and makes it really interesting to work. So you don't want to be seeing all black and white, or you have to move from one window to another like that every day. So that's why R is the foundation on which RStudio is now built on. The screen you're using for RStudio, that is my own screen, but you can have your screen customized in the way you want it. So it doesn't have to be like my eye. I have to consider my own eyesight. I have to consider the colors that are coming in. All this I'm going to display to you. I'm going to show you after this brief intro. Okay, so I'm going to take you now from my slide to my RStudio so that we'll look at this interface and be familiar with it. So because we are going to be using RStudio IDE all through for this today's class. Okay, so this is my screen. I'm going to stop, I will close this project for now so that you'll see the new screen that you will see now is what you will see after installing your RStudio. Don't be confused. I changed my own screen to suit my own lifestyle or how I work. So all this can be changed when you go into RStudio. Okay, so all you just need to do is this. You already have these three windows are by default there for you: the console, the environment window, the tab, that's the tab, the pane here, then also your project or files pane or window, as you might want to call it. So, but if you don't like the way the panes are kind of organized, you can change it as well. You can change it. Then what you have to do is to go to tools, then you go to global options, where you have the option of changing all what you're seeing on the screen. So if you want to change the appearance, the colors here, you don't like the black screen, you can change everything here. Maybe the fonts are too big or too small, you can decide to change everything here. It's all your choice now. But I like mine the way it is. So if you make your choice, select it and apply and click OK. So you can also look at the pane layout. So I have mine arranged this way because I like it this way. So you can have your environment, you can change them. If you want your console to be at the top, right, left corner, then you can select from the drop down here and change everything. If you want the environment to be there, it's okay. It's going to change it for you. So if you want maybe the file, everything can be changed and applied. It depends on your choice. So you don't have to be, okay, oh, your screen is different from mine. No, it's okay. It's okay for my screen to be different from yours, but you can change it to suit your own style of working with RStudio. So this is just what we have here. So everything you're seeing on my screen can be different from yours, but you can change it that way. So you can also have the fourth pane, that is for the script, your R script. So the fourth pane actually is for you to keep your codes, save it as a file that you can always refer to whenever you want to work on the same task again. The same thing that you can do in your scripts is also what you can do in the console here. That is on my right, the fourth pane that you're seeing here where my cursor is blinking. You can write your code there and run it. So, but if you run it in the console, just know that you can only get it in your history, but you won't be able to get it when you're logging back into RStudio or you close your screen. So it's advisable that you have it in your script saved for you to use the next time. Okay, so let me check the chat now. So please keep an eye, help to keep an eye on the chat. I will answer the questions later, but let's just move on here. So I'll stop sharing. I'll go back to my slide. So please confirm if you can see my slides.
Yes, we can see.
We can see.
Okay. Okay, you can see my screen now.
Very well.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay,
please.
so now we've talked about the environment, the project displayed, and the code, everything is there. So kindly help me to mute after. I'm grateful for your interaction. Well, thank you. So the file structure for any project, you need to be organized. You have to have your files. You should know where your files are going, where your data files are going. Everything needs to be organized to prevent chaos when you want to work again. You might be, maybe if you have your data file in your desktop and you have your script in the document folder, this is going to cause a lot of issues because you have to be forcing yourself to write script that would not work, and it will not also be shareable with your colleagues. So it's better for you to have a file and project structure that really works for not just you, but your colleagues, because you cannot, even if you're working remotely, you have to work in a team. You have to work with somebody. Somebody needs to review your work and so on. So you need to have a good file structure, or you have it in your repository online. So these are all possible for you to do it, and it makes it easier for you. So in RStudio, you would want to create a project. And to create a project, we're going to go through that. Then you have to have a folder that actually caters for where all your data files are. Then you have another folder for what? For your scripts, your R scripts, your R Markdown scripts, your presentation scripts, like maybe the Quarto that we're having now, or the R Markdown. It depends on which one. So keep your scripts in a folder like that. Then the output, you might want to save your plots as a graphic or a PDF that you want to share with somebody. You can put them there, or the result of your cleaning and manipulating your data, you might want to share it with your colleague to take on the next stage. Maybe he wants to take, maybe do the visualization, creating the reports and all this stuff. So you might want to share the task. I clean the data, then you do the analysis and all this stuff. So that makes the work easy. So I'll take you to RStudio. We'll create a new project, go through that, then we can move on to now looking at how we get help and move on. So I'll take you back to our studio. Okay, so I'm going to close my project here. Okay, so starting R, if you don't have any previous project that you're working on, then you should be able to get a screen like this. So you can start from going to your file menu. Then you have the option of creating a script or a project. Another shortcut would be that you on your right side, you'll see something like okay, let me just make it a little bit smaller. So you can see the icon here, or a drop down that gives you the option to create a new project and add to your RStudio environment. So I can click on this. So it gives us a window. So this window is giving you the option of creating a new project, a new directory for it to start a project, or an existing directory, or a version control. That's when we're talking about, maybe you've already created a repository on GitHub and you now want to bring it into RStudio so that you can easily update from RStudio to your cloud repository. So this is easy, but we're not going to take that in this class today. So I'll go for the new project. So we have different projects that we can create, but the one we're looking at today is going to be just an ordinary project. So you click on the new project, give it a name, maybe my GA workshop project or something. Okay, so just give it a name like that. So there are options here which I would kind of advise that you leave it for now, but you get to understand if you go into a data analytics class, then you know the reason why you have to use this and this. So this is it. So you just click on create project and you have your project created for you. Okay, so now I have my project here. So after creating your project, you have a folder that is created for you in your R project. That project is actually, that folder is created when you install RStudio in R. So what the next thing you will need to do is that maybe you have data that you want to work on. You can create a new folder. So it can be for your data. Okay, so you can also create a new one for your scripts. All these are optional if you want to do it that way. But if you don't want to do it this way, you can just leave it there, but it's kind of going to be messy when you have so many files that you're working with as a data file or scripts. But you can just get used to the system, or you follow the standard laid by your organization, how they work. So all this depends on how you're working here. So that is that for creating a project. Then you can also add your scripts, create a new script. This is it. So you can just type 2 + 2 or 2 + 3. We'll save it. Then you select a folder where you want to keep it. So if you have this, okay, you can decide to save inside that's the script folder, okay? So if I save this in my script folder, I will say maybe my first script. Okay, so I'll click save. So this has been saved into the folder scripts. So that's it. That's where you have it. So I can refer to that, and I can also get some data file and put it in the data folder. So that is that. So I'll take you back to my screen, and I'll also use this time to look at the charts to see if there are questions there. Okay, Mahmoud is saying, I can't install my R, is showing me the program can start. Try reinstalling the program to fix it. What should I do now? Okay. Oh, okay. I think, yeah. Thanks so much for the support. Okay. I think that's all we have here. Okay, I think I've answered your question. How do you save the scripts? I've shown you now. I think that is sorted out. Stanley, can you confirm if you are okay with saving your scripts now?
Oh, it was too fast. I missed what you clicked to save it. I actually typed 2+3. I have everything, but what did you click to save it?
Okay. I'll take you back. I'll take you back there. I'll create a new one. Okay, so can you see, confirm if you can see my screen here?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'm going to save it again. Or maybe I'll create a new script. New script.
Don't worry, just save this one.
Okay, I've already saved that. So I will save this new one now. So what I did was that there is an arrow here. Okay, see, this was the small screen that you saw when I did it. Okay, so what you need to do, just give it script. The name, I've changed the name now. So if you have multiple folders, okay.
No. So I'm just here, all right. I'm on the screen before it became grayed out like this. After you type hello. So how did it become grayed out like this?
Okay, because I'm actually I'm sharing my screen with you. That's why it's kind of grayed out. Then it's also having a pop-up here. There is a pop-up that is showing up now. It's showing me that this is the active screen.
We cannot see.
You can see my screen. Okay, I'll stop.
We can't see the pop-up.
Oh, okay. Let me share again.
Sorry, I hope I'm not dragging the class too much. Otherwise, you can see.
No problem. Can you see my pop-up now?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So how did it get to this save as?
I did Control S. I actually.
That's what I'm asking for.
Okay. Then you can also, if you don't want to use, sorry, it's because of the way I work. Sorry, that was an oversight. Sorry. So what you need to do if you want to save your script is you go to the file menu, click on it, look at the drop down, you'll see save as. Let me close this. Okay. I'll share my RStudio now. Okay, so what you need to do, if you don't want to use the shortcuts, you can go to file, come down, then you see save as. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you click on, yes, you can click on this save as, okay? Then it will give you the same pop-up.
Okay.
So I hope you can see the pop-up again.
Yes, I can see it now. All I needed was to say you use Control S.
Okay,
and you've
good.
done that. So we can move on. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that is that. So I'll go back to my slides. Okay, so for any programmer or anybody working as a technical person, you need help. You cannot say, okay, I know it all. No, it's not possible. So there are different ways that you can get help, even for the new thing that is going on now, OpenAI. So you can get a lot of help, but don't get yourself stuck with that because you might not learn anything. Okay, so If you are stuck, you don't know where to go to, there is a way you can get help right inside RStudio. I'll show you that. Then there is a community online that you can also work with. If I click on this link, we'll share the slides and the codes, everything after the class. So you can go into this community, you can register, you can share questions, you can see all questions that people are asking here. They're asking, I have this error, I have this, I have that. So you can get help here. Just know that you need to have your question, your data, everything in a way that they can really help you. Okay? Then you can also generate some scripts that's beyond the class today. So then also you can go for your search engine. That's the Google, our good friends, old Google is always there to help you. Then we have the Stack Overflow and different social media networks or online networks that you can get help from any programming language. So these are all available. These are just some of it. So, but if we go into, excuse me. So if we go back into RStudio, there's a way you can get help. I'll take you to my RStudio. I'll share that. So in my RStudio, if you have any function that you're working with, let me give like maybe you're working on something, you get an error, you can copy this. Okay, so let me say I have something like I'm assuming I have something like a variable here. We'll talk about this. So I run this. I did a shortcut there. So if I put it in my console, as I'm trying to type something there, so it's going to tell you error, object gender not found. It's telling you that you are trying to access something like an object or a variable that is not in your environment here. So, but if you don't understand it, just copy the error and go to our old-time neighborhood friend, Google, push it in there. You'll get a lot of options or references to where people have stumbled into this problem. Then you can get a solution to it. Or you can have your groups that you're relating with, maybe WhatsApp or any group. You can ask for help there. So, and if you're working with any functionality, maybe a function, a mean or something, you just put a question mark here. The first thing you put question mark, then you type the function, maybe the function that you're trying to look, the pop-up will come there. Then to give you a documentation about that function, if it is actually within R or a package in R. So it will give you all the information and also examples that you can use to get to better understand the function itself. Okay, so these are the various ways that you can get help, and don't be lost. Just keep asking questions. You will get there. Nobody got it right one day. You will still be able to manipulate your ways. It might take some time, and immediately you learn something from your mistakes. Document it. You can always document it. Sorry, kindly mute. Yeah, okay. Sorry, Ahmad. Okay, mute. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So these are the ways that you can get your help anytime, any day. So, okay. So we want to look at variables. That is the first thing that you need to know as anybody using any language. You'll be working with some values, data, objects. So if you have a data or an object, like just like the RStudio is telling us that, okay, there's an error, I don't understand what this object, I don't know where it is. So these are objects that are called variables. It's trying to assume you have a variable that you're using as a container to save value. So and that variable or object could, that object is gender, which is a variable containing some values, which I didn't create. So that's why it's giving me the error. So variables actually in R, in any programming language, you have a variable there. So it's a container for storing values of data. So you can create your variable using the assignment operator or equal sign. So it depends, but it's better to get used to the assignment operator, that is the less than with the dash after it. So the examples here would be the country. We want to have a country. I want to save a variable that has the name of my country in it. Or I want to have a variable that has the age of my grandfather in it. So, or my dad in it. So that is going to be this one. Or it could be the age of patients in an hospital or students in a school. It can have multiple values. So the difference between these two that we're seeing on the screen is actually, the first one is a text value and the second one is a numeric value. So if you're storing any value that is text, you have to put it in quotes, either double quotes or a single quote. But for the numbers, no, you don't need to put anything there. So then variables can be accessed using their name, just like I used the gender. If I had stored something value in it, I would have been able to access the value that I stored inside that variable. So, and this is age. We can get the value out of it just by calling the name. So we can also print it out and all this. So let me just, we're now talking about the code now. We'll go into RStudio. So I'm going to leave the project that we created. So I'm going to bring up the projects for this class. So it will help us save enough time today. Okay.
Sorry, what's the best approach, to try to mimic you or to just listen?
Well, actually, you can say we are recording the class, so you can try to follow along with me. I'll try to be as slow as I can. Okay, so I'll try my best to do that. So, but just try and listen. I think that would be better. I'll share the codes. You registered for the class?
That'll be better. Yes.
Awesome. So we have your email. We'll share it with you after this class. All the scripts, everything, we'll get it to you. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. One last thing before you go on. How long is this training for today?
I was stopping by 12.
When are we ending?
12 noon, Nigerian time.
Thank you.
Nigerian, yeah.
That's fine.
So just like I said, this is the secret to the slide that you're looking at on the browser. We wrote everything R. So I'll just take you through, but we wouldn't give you this one because you might get lost there. So, but I'll copy out the scripts. So we'll see. We'll now use it in the console and also in a blank script, just like the one we created. So you can just go in there, or I'll push my console here so you can see what I'm doing on the right side here of my screen. So I can push it in here. So what I'm doing is that I want to create, I can do this like country. We create a country first. So the shortcut, okay, let me use the less than, then the dash, then you put in the double quote Nigeria, okay? So when you've written the line of code like this, what you need to do is just click this button, run, and it will display on the right side in the console here for you to see the output of what you did. So if I click run now, just make sure that your cursor is on that line, not somewhere different or far away from it. Maybe I am here. So if I click run now, it's just going to show nothing in the console. So nothing is being executed. That's just what it's telling you. So, but you have your cursor here, it's going to run it again. Okay. So a variable actually is something that you can always change. So if I call that name, country, it's going to give me the value Nigeria. And another thing you have to watch out for is that there's a tab, a pane here that is called environment. So for any value, variable that has value in it or no value in it, I can decide to delete this. Okay. And I still run it. Okay. So the shortcut for you to run any line of code is, okay, I'm on Mac, is for you to click your Command Enter together, the buttons, the two buttons. When you're on Windows, you use Control Enter. So you might not see me click this button. I'm not, okay. So, but I'll try to be slow and take time to get you to understand it. So anytime, if you run this now, I only created the variable, but I didn't have any value in it. So if I call the name now, country, okay, so it's nothing. It's an empty string. Okay, that's what I did there. So that is just what is going to keep there. But if I want to change it, I can change it to maybe, okay, let's use the popular country now, Morocco. Okay, so if I do this, so we have Morocco now. So you can see the value in it is Morocco. I hope I spelled that right. Okay, so that would be, so if I say country, so we have Morocco there. So that is that. So that would be the country that we're referring to now. So, but anytime you want to change it, I can even change it to a number, but that wouldn't make sense. So because what you need to understand is that for any variable, give it a meaningful name that you can always reconnect with. If I say country, you should be considering that, okay, in this variable, I should have the country names or a country's name. So not a number. So that would not make sense of it, of having number in this kind of variable. So, but I can decide to, okay, change it back and make it Nigeria. I run that again, then I have age. So I can use the equal sign if you want to. So 24. And for indentation, just leave the space there. So then you have it. So we have two variables now that are having values in them, 24 for the age and Nigeria for the country. So this is it. So now if I think I'm going to take you back to my slides where we'll be able to see, because it's black and white here, although the script that created is here, but it's going to be black and white. So let's go back there. So now it's displayed in a beautiful way for us here. So you can also assign multiple variables in R. So if you want to create a state and the capital, that's we have the state Kano here in Nigeria, then the capital is also Kano. So you can assign this single value to both. So if you refer to the state, it will give you Kano, and if you refer to the capital, you get the same thing. So all this can be executed in our RStudio using R. So also you can assign multiple values to a variable. So like the example we're having here, we have vowel sounds that has all these A, E, and so on. So we have that there. Then we have prime numbers here as well. So then, just like I said, when you want to give names to your variables, let it be meaningful and descriptive of the value assigned to it. So also start with characters. You can combine it with various characters, underscore, dash, and all this stuff, digits, periods, and so on. So, but don't start with digits or underscore. Don't start with that. So do not start also with period followed by digits. So these are the rules that can give you error. Then we don't use special words or keywords in any programming language. There are keywords there. You don't use the true, false, if, and all this stuff as your variable name. You don't use them. So these are the valid variable names that you can have. So these are examples that you can play around with when you get the scripts. So we also have invalid variable names. These are examples of invalid variable names that can give you issues. So then if you're writing your code, there are some standards you need to follow. Let your codes be something that if you share it with a friend, they will understand the various steps that you took to execute a task. That is, every line of code, try to give it a comment. And for you to create any comment in R, you start with the hash, or maybe the hash sign or the pound sign, whichever one you want to call it. Just put it before anything you want to write there. So just like this is a comment, but this is not a comment. This is a string, okay? This is a string. So if you don't precede it with it, it's going to give you an issue. So let me take you to that so that I don't chew too much and get you lost. Yeah. So I'll clean, if I want to clean my console, I'm not going to use the shortcut. So there's a broomstick here. You can see a broomstick in the RStudio in your console pane. If you roll over it on the right side, just click on it and it will clean your console for you so that you don't have too much clogging the console. So because we don't need it, it's not even going to save it in the first instance. So it's not going to save it there. So what you need to do this, if I type this is not a comment, okay? It's going to give me an error, but it's trying to make sense of something here. So it's not okay to do this, except you put it in the quotes and you will now refer to it as a string. So if I do this, okay, sorry, I brought that back. I used another shortcut there. You can use your arrow key up, down, the one pointing up and down to bring back previous lines of code that or scripts that you've run in your console. So if I do this, if I use the arrow key pointing up, I can get everything that I've run, but it's not immediately I close the RStudio, you won't get it there. But you can search your history. Maybe you might be lucky to have it based on your settings. So for this one, I'm going to bring it back, put the quotes there. I'll close it. Then this will be a string. It's going to recognize this. So if I come into my script, like, okay, I want to add a comment here. So I can say this is the country. Okay, I'm working on, okay, maybe the data, the country data, okay, data I'm working on. So this could be the age of, maybe age of participants. Okay, age, maybe make it age limit of participants. So if I run this line that is actually started with the hash sign or the pound sign, it's not going to execute it, but it's going to execute the next line of code that it says after it, because it's treating it as a comment. So even if I select the two together, so it's going to show it as a comment, but it's not executed, it's not saved anywhere. So it's just treating it as something informational. So, but the actual code that is run is the one here, age is equal to 24. So anybody that gets this script will understand what I'm trying to do on line 4 and 7. So they'll know that, okay, the age limit of participants, whichever one you want to put there, but it makes your code readable. We can understand what you're doing. Then somebody can work on it. Your colleague, your teammates, everybody, they can work on that. So that does that. So let me go in here. So when variables we've talked about, so you can print it out. If you don't want to just reference the name like age, like this, it gives you this, but you can also use this function. There are functions that comes with R, so you can just print it out as age, and then you get the same value out as well. Okay. So assigning multiple variables. So if you copy this, or I do that, let's say, okay, the capital of Nigeria is Abuja, where we're based in. So I can also do this, use the shortcut, and then, okay, country. Okay, I wouldn't be able to do it this way. Let's use this example then. So you type the state, because the country value and the capital are different. So I can't use this example here. So, but this state in Nigeria is the same name as the state, is also the same for the capital. So now I will assign the value Kano. So this runs, no error, nothing. So if I call or reference the name, so I'll get Kano, then I'll also do that for capital and also get the same value. So that is that. So, but if it's different values, then you have to reference separately, assign it separately. So then using multiple values, let me check the time, 11:03. So all this I'll copy, or I can run it from the code chunk here, and we'll get everything run. So don't get yourself bothered about this. This is a script or a file that you can use to generate your reports, or you want to blog with it. That's Quarto for now. So, but that's beyond this class. So I can copy or run it within this code chunk. So that's for that one. So let's go to the next thing. So we have the rules that we've gone through on the slide. Then the basic ones that, okay, don't do this, then do that, the other one. So these are the invalid ones. So if I copy any of this, they are actually commented out here because it would not give us that document if there is any error. So if I do this, so I'm starting the variable name with 8 and assigning this to it. So this will be an error. So it's telling you unexpected symbol in this. So it's not expecting you to give it 8 as the first character there. So that's one of the examples there. So the comments as well. So we've looked at comments there. So now let's go into arithmetic operation. For any programming language, any analysis you want to do, you will perform some arithmetic operations, but we are not going to go into everything here today because that is not possible. So we would take some examples, then we would shift to another thing. So I'll copy this out, and to save time, I want us to save some time for Q&A. So we can just run this 4 + 5. It gives you the answer. If you decide to save the values as a variable, you have it in the environment A, B. So you can see A has 8 as the value, then B. So with this variable, R automatically detects what is inside it. I'm not going to go into something that we'll call cohesion. If you're trying to add strings, let's say I want to add, I'll clean up my console again. Maybe I want to add state plus capital. So it's going to give me an error because I'm trying to add non-numeric values together. So that is an error there. So, but there's a way you can combine strings, but not saying that you want to add them together. So, but for any numeric value that you save as a variable, you can add them together. That would be A plus B. Okay, so it's giving me 17. So that is easy. So, and the other examples as well, all this can be achieved. So if you run this, you get an error because, okay, I didn't create all these ones. So let me just run this. Then we can use multiple variables in here. So this is executed, no error now. So if I look at U, it's going to give me the value like that. So we've combined so many arithmetic operations here, which are highlighted here: plus sign, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponential. All these are available in R, which you can perform. So even if you are coming from the academics, all your controls, they are all available here, but you just have to get your way around to achieving those formulas in R. So there are other operators, the comparison operators, the logical ones, and there are some complex operators that you can also use as well. So if there's any question at this point, I would like to take them, but if none, then we can proceed so that we use the time well. I want us to finish this class. Okay, I think I can proceed. So let me get, okay, there's a question.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Please, I just want to inquire about, I have registered and I couldn't receive the link until a friend shared it with me. So I don't know what happened, whether my registration has not been submitted or what happened along the line.
Oh, okay.
So that's it. And I'm with the class for, let's say, more than 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I've been following. I heard when you said, okay, you are recording and you
Yeah.
share it with the members.
Mm-hmm.
So that what give me the courage to, okay, let me confirm what's happened with my registration,
Okay.
because I did not receive the link.
Okay. Okay, sorry for that. But for all the emails that we received, the registrations that we received, we actually sent email to everybody. But I don't know, it's possible there's an error somewhere. So we want to apologize for that. But what I want you to do for me is that if you can share your email directly with me here, you can see the logo, use the logo to send it to me, or you send it into the chat. We will get it sent to you. I mean,
No
promise.
problem. I'll do that. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right.
Okay. So if we don't have any other question, so thank you, Ridwan. Thank you for the support there. Okay. I want to take us to the slides again. So, okay. Okay. So that is that. So the arithmetic operations are there. So we have different types. When we're dealing with data, they come in different types and different shapes, different sizes, complexity as you would have it. So as a data analyst or somebody, a data professional, you need to be aware of this. Then you need to understand that, okay, I need to work with different types, different ways. So that's why we're bringing this up. These are the 5 major data types that we want to look at today. So we have the numeric, the integer, complex, character, and the logical. So for the workshop, we'll look at something simple like the numeric, the integer, and the logical character as well. So the numeric value are just the ordinary numbers that you see there. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Okay. So, but integer is kind of different. We would not, integer would not accept maybe decimal. How would I explain in layman's term? Is a rounded value that, okay, you wouldn't want to have the decimal, the fractional aspect there. So that is where the integer comes in. But if you're working with numeric or integer value and you're not being specific, R can do something like coercion that, okay, I'm assuming this is numeric. But if you want to force it to accept it as integer, then you have to follow it with a capital letter L. So that it will still be able to perform all the arithmetic operations and so on and so forth. So that is for this. So then the characters, they are the ones that, okay, if their text, even the numeric value can be turned into a character. So you just have to close it up with double quotes or single quotes. While the logical values are is either true or false, or a statement that is returning a logical response. So like the X now is being assigned a logical value, but Y is is actually executing the code and giving us back a logical response. So is 5 less than 1? No. So that's going to be a false. So that is that. So then if you want to check the types of any value that you're having, just use this function class and put the variable inside, then it will give you the type of data that is there, that is being stored inside that variable. So that is that. So I'm going to go back to the RStudio, but let's just look at some of this thing. So then we look at data structures. Just like I said, we have types, we have structures, we have sizes, different sizes. So we have collection. A data structure could be a collection of data types, either the same data type or different data types. So we have 6 major ones: the vectors, lists, matrices, arrays, data frames, factors. So all these structures are executed in R. So I'm going to take us back there after going to the description so that we'll see something beautiful before we go into the black and white stuff. So these are vectors. Vectors can only take data or values with the same type. So it's created using this function, the C and the open and closing brackets. That will help us to create all this. We'll run the code in RStudio. Then you can check the length, you can sort it as much as you want. Then we can access each value inside the vector as well. So let's go into RStudio to look at that so I don't lose you. Okay, so we've looked at the types. I've explained that. Okay, so I'm not going to spend much time here. So, but to explain this, I'll run this C and D. So I can say C plus D. So it's going to give me the number back. Okay, so you can do arithmetic operation on integers just the same way you can do on numeric values. So then also for the data types, the character, you can use single quotes for joy, or you use multiple quotes, joy. Okay, then the logical one, let me take this, that could be something that we might want to find challenging. So if I run this line of code and you look into my environment, you can see the response or the value that is stored there is false, because 5 is not less than 1. Is actually greater than 1. So that's false. It's a false statement that you're asking me to execute. So that's why the response is false. Okay, so for the other values, so you can check the types. So if I copy this and put it in my console, so it's going to be a logical value. So the value inside it that is logical is false. So let me clean my console and I'll close up this. So the structures now, let's go into the structures, then we'll be able to see. Okay, so for the vectors now, we said they have to be the same thing. So I'll copy this to save us time. I'll run this here. Okay, so if you type colors. So we have all the values there, okay? But if I decide to change some things there, let me go back, okay? And I decide to include a number here, okay? It's going to save, it's not going to give me an error, but if I now decide to look at what is inside colors. So what do you see there? You can see that it's giving the number to a quote, because it's doing something we call coercion. It's trying to assume, maybe you're trying to make it, you're trying to add a string that is 2. So I can make 2 a string. Let's say P is equal to 2. I save that, it's going to save it, but I now decide to say 2 plus P. It's going to give me an error because it is non-numeric. I've saved because of the quote. Anything you put in quotes, either single or double quote, it's a string. So you can't perform any numeric value, even though it's saving 2 as a string, you cannot. You have to convert it back to numeric. So the same thing with vectors is taking only the same types, no matter even if it's millions value that you're saving as a string, as a vector, they all have to be the same value type or data type. So if it's not, it's going to perform implicit coercion that is going to make assumptions. So even if I do this, I decide to take out another one and I say false. That is a logical value. So I save that, it will go. It's going to go. But it's going to implicitly change it to what? Strings, because that's the majority of values that are there. So it's assuming that everything there is. So I will just run this. I hope that is clear. So for any vector, it has to be the same value. They have to be the same value. So if it's going to be logical, let it be logical. If it's going to be string, let it be strings. So that is it. So we can also access any of the values there. So this, you can get the length. So I will run this, I'll select this. So I'm cautious of the time. So I want to, so if you run the line length and you put the variable names in it, it's going to tell you that we have 3 values inside that vector. So it's 3. So you can also sort it when you're having numerical value, or you sort based on certain values if it's character type. So you can sort this. This is not sorted. Numbers is not sorted, but if you use that function, it's going to sort it in increasing order. That's by default. So there are a lot of things you can do. You can access the values of any item in your vector using a number or an index to represent them. But if it is a named vector, you might use the name of that item, that's value inside the vector. But we're not dealing with named vectors here. So you can also refer to the last element there. Okay, you're taking out actually the, one of them, so except one, if that's the first one there, banana, so you take that out and return the remaining ones there. So we can access multiple values here using this. So we refer to multiple index there. So we have lists. So we have the list data structure as well. List actually is the one that takes everything. Just give me anything you want, I'll take it. So it takes different types and it accepts them all. So let's say the mother of list will be the data frame, which will come to meet later. So this takes different values. So we have the different values there. You have the logical, the numeric, and so it's going to accept it. But for you to create a list, you use the function list. So we use this function. Then we can also access any of the items there using the index or the indices. So these are, then you can also replace any of these values. The same thing you can do with add to vectors. You can do the same thing, replace and shuffle as you want, but we're not going too much into that. So, but this is an example. We don't want to take much of your time there. So, so we have the lists. I'm going to go into matrices now. Sorry, I'm going to be fast, but we're hoping that you're getting some of the understanding of this. But the script is easy for you to understand. Then you can also get to practice with them, go around with them. So matrices actually is a two-dimensional structure which we can create. We can state the number of rows that we want. We can state the number of columns that we want in it. So any one that we decide, we can use that. So we have so many structures, but we don't want to take everything now, but the script will be shared with you. So I want us to take like 5 minutes to ask questions, we'll answer it. Then I'll call one of the other instructors to also take the remaining part of this class. So I want to have questions.
The questions I've already posted there. Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Will you share the PDF and the PowerPoint? Or
yes, we are going to share it with you. We are going to share it with you.
Thank you.
Okay, Redwan, you'll be on standby to take the data analysis side of the class. Redwan, are you there? So if you have any question you want to ask, just push it in here. I think. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, if you know you didn't get the link, please kindly share your email here. Then we'll be able to send it to you. We appreciate your presence here. So kindly send in your email, then we'll take note of that.
Hello.
My name is Adejumo Ridwan Suleiman. I'm also an instructor at Business Data Laboratory. So earlier on, as I was explained earlier, the fundamentals of R. So all what she has been explaining earlier on was just to build a basic knowledge and understanding on R. So I'm going to be using most of this knowledge when you're analyzing data and also trying to work with data. So the first thing now I'm going to be talking about is importing and exporting data in R. So you already have a data which you want to work with in R. So how do you actually import that particular data into R and you work with it? And also maybe you want to also export the data, maybe a summarized data of the bigger data you're actually working with. So how would you export this particular summarized data so that you can be able to share it with others too also? So this is where we are going to be using the read CSV function, that is to import the data. So you can see now, first of all, we need to create a variable for our data. So we're creating a variable so that R is going to recognize it in its memory, because if we don't store it as a variable, we can actually work with it. So I'm going to create a variable called sales, and we use the read.csv function. So currently now, if I go to my files, so we're going to see the sales.csv. So this data set actually has to be in your project directory for you to be able to work with it. So if it's another file, then I cannot call it as sales.csv directory. I need to reference to that particular folder or file path. So now, currently now, since it's already in my project directory, I'm going to sales.csv is not going to be the file part of it, which is actually the name of the data. So when I run this now, I have already stored this, which you can see this in my environment window, sales, a data of 1,000 observations and 8 variables. So let us have a look at this particular data that we're going to work with. View sales. The view function allows you to be able to view the sales data so that you can be able to see the variables and the observations you're going to be working with. So when I run this particular line, the view sales is going to open on a new tab. So here you can now see the data that we are working with. You can see that this is data for a particular organization that deals with motorcycle parts. So we have the column dates, which is the date a particular item was purchased. We have the warehouse, this particular warehouse, where that item was purchased. So we're having 3 warehouses: central warehouse, north warehouse, and also west warehouse. They also have the client type, the type of client that actually purchased that item. Was it on a retail, or was it a retail client or a wholesale client? We have the product line. The product line that particular product belongs to. We also have the quantity of item that was actually purchased, the unit price, the total, and the type of payment method that was made. So we have 3 payment methods. We have credit card, we have cash, and we also have transfer. So I'm going to be making sense of this data and see what kind of insights can we actually get from this particular data. So before we start exploring the data, let me just show how you can also export how you can export the data. So this is a particular data now, subset. So let's just say we have a variable called subset and sales. I'm going to be subsetting this particular sales data now. Sales, I'm going to subsetting column 2, 3, and 4. So I'm subsetting only 3 columns now from this particular data. So when I use the view function to view this particular subset data, so you can see that I've already filtered only 3 columns from this particular data. So now I want to export this particular data now into my project directory so that I can be able to share the file. I can be able to view it in any other tool, maybe Excel or another application like that. So I'm going to say write.csv, subset, in quotation marks, the subset.csv, that is the name of the file. So this first argument that we're giving is the name of the variable, which is that particular subsetted data. Why this is going to be the name of the file. So when I say write.csv, subset.csv, when I run this, they're going to be seeing subset.csv in my project directory. So you can see that I have the subset.csv. So you can use this to export any data, any variable that is data in your script. You can use this particular function, write.csv, to be able to export that particular data. So now let's start by exploring the data and see. So there's a function we have called head. The head function allows you to get, instead of using the view, since the view opens the data in a new tab, you can actually use allows you to see the top, by default, the head function allows you to see the top 5 rows of your data. So you can see it here. I might need to expand this a little bit. Okay, so let's try it again. Okay, let me just do it like this. So you can see that the head function allows you to get the top 6 rows of your data by default. So, but if you want to see more rows in your data, you can now use the next argument, which takes in the number of rows you want to see. For example, now to see 10 rows. So I'm going to say head of the data, which is sales, then the first 10 rows. So you can see now I can now see the first 10 rows. Same thing also applies if you want to see the first 20 rows. You can use that to also check for the first 20 rows. So the alternative also is for you to be able to check the bottom 10 rows, which is the tail function. So the tail function allows you to check the bottom 10 rows. By default, also the tail function allows you to check the bottom 6 rows. So if I use the tail function now, without the argument of the number of rows I want, so I'm going to get, you can see the bottom 6 rows. So this is just for viewing your data so that you can be able to know, okay, this is what I'm working with. This is what I'm working with, and these are kind of variables I'm also going to be working with. So is this another option if you don't want to use a view function to view your data in another new tab? So we also have a function called the str function. So this str function allows you to check the type of data type your variables are. So when I run str says, I can be able to see the list of all my all my variables, which are in my columns also, and can also see the kind of data types these particular columns are. You can see for the dates, we are having a character. You can see it here, character. Let me expand it. So you can see it here, character. And for the warehouse also, it's also a character. For the client's type, it's a character. Product line is also a character. We have quantity, which is integer, while unit price is numeric. So she explained earlier on the difference between integer and numeric. You can see that the numeric are having decimal points, while the integer are not having decimal points. So if all these particular values now don't have decimal points, automatically R is going to detect it as an integer. I also have the total, which is numeric, and we have the payment also, which is numeric. So the str function allows you to be able to see that, okay, this is the structure of the variables I'm working with, and these are the kind of data types I'm working with. So this allows you to know the kind of operation you can perform with these particular variables. You know, you cannot perform mathematical operations with character variables. So by checking this, I can be able to know that, okay, these are the kind of data types I have in my data set.
Excuse me. Hi. Can I ask a question?
Okay.
Yeah. What's the difference between class? What is the difference between class and the structure function? This str function. The class function also shows you the class of the data set that you have. What's the difference between structure and class? This str and class function.
Okay, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Class also shows you the. Okay, so the str is like you're actually using the str function on your own data sets. You understand? So let's, for example, now let's run the class and see. Let's see the class on the sets. So you can see now the class function also shows you the type of data, let's say the type of data structure of that particular data set, which is a data frame. While the str function is going to list all the data types of that particular variables under that particular data set.
Yeah, understood. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So next also we have the summary function, which also summarizes your data sets for you based on your particular data type. So when I run the summary sales function, you can see now I'm having summarized. I'm having a summary of each particular variable in my data set. So R detected dates as a character. So you can see that it's telling me that, okay, the length of dates, that is the total number of all the observations or rows in the date is character, and the mode also is character. So also have warehouse. You can see for all the character variables too are the same thing. But when it now comes to that of the numeric variables or the integer, you can see type, which is minimum. We can know that the minimum quantity of item that was bought was 1, while the maximum quantity was 40. I can also see the mean, which is 9 points, approximately the mean quantity of item that was bought. We can also see the median. You can see other statistics too, like the first quartile and also the third quartile. Same thing too, when you go to your unit price, you can see that, okay, the minimum unit price of an item is 10.03 in dollars, while so this summary allows you to be able to see the summary of the variables in your data set that you're working with. Whether it is a character variable or it is a numeric variable, you are going to see this variable, you only get the length, you get the class, you get the mode. While for numeric variables or integer variables, you get the statistics of those particular minimum number, the minimum value, the median, and also the maximum. Okay, so now the first is to find the total amount of all the sales that was made. So since the local organization wants to know, okay, what is the total amount of all sales that was made? So you are going to be using the sum function, but first of all, before we use the sum function, we need, so we'll use the square brackets for that. So when you want to index a particular column, you can either index by the column number or you index by the column name. Data now, you can see that this is column number 8. Sorry, column number 7, which is the total. So if I'm to say, so let's say for example, it's going to give me the whole column. I'll also, what if I say sales then I use the square brackets, then total, which is the name of that particular column. I also get the same value. So this is two options, but it's best to usually use the column name itself because you can keeping a record of their names, but once it's easier to keep record of the names of the columns than the numbers of that particular column. So now we are going to apply this particular sum function on the variable total. So we cannot just apply it on our whole data set and say sum sales. So we need to, because we want to get the sum total of all the items that was bought. So we're going to have to index that particular variable, which is total. Then we'll now apply the sum function. So we'll now say sum of sales, then with the square brackets total. So you can now see we have $289,113. So this is the total number or the total amount of all the sales that was made. So now, okay, what we want to know the total. What we want to know the total payments that was made by cash. So let's say this is also like the total sales that was made by cash. So what we get earlier on now was the total sales that was made all through. We're interested now in getting the total payments that was made by cash. So first of all, we need to know the columns that we're interested in and also the observations are going to be filtering. Now we're interested in payment that was made by cash. So we have to, first of all, when we give the sum function, then we index or we filter the payments that was made by cash. So how do we filter the payments that was made by cash? So I'm going to say, or let me just do it like this. I'm going to say sales. So we use the square bracket to now say sales payments. So you can actually use the dollar sign to also index. So the dollar sign works similar to the square bracket, except that the dollar sign is usually used strictly on the variable names. So you cannot use a number like the way used in the, like the way I used it earlier on the way you use the square bracket on numbers, or maybe the variable name or the variable number. You can only use the dollar sign strictly on the variable name. So I'm going to be filtering that of payments that was made by cash. You can see it's payments. So I'm going to select payments, sales payments. So I'm going to use the equality sign now. That's okay. I need only payments that was made by cash. So you can see this now. Sorry. So to put the comma. So because I'm filtering rows here, so these are rows. So I'm supposed to put the comma. So the comma and this empty space here. So when I say enter, you can see, well, let me do it like this, okay? So you can see what I'm having here. This is cash, 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 cash. So it has already filtered for payments that was strictly made by cash. Made by cash alone. So that's why we filtered for cash first of all. So after doing that now, we are now going to also, because it's not for the old data set, indexing, which is for what? The total. So it's going to be for total. This filtered cash, this filtered payment that was made by cash is another data. So it's like we're applying, we can actually store this in a variable, and it's like we're applying another indexing to it because we only want the column of total. So after doing that, then we'll now apply the sum function. So you can see now the total payments that was made by cash was $19,199. So this is the way what we did. That first of all, we filtered payment that was made by cash. Then we got the whole data set. After getting the whole data set, then we now got the total column. Applied the sum function to get the total sum of all the payments that was made by cash. So now we want to get the most expensive item now by unit price. So from our summary earlier on, that was when we did summary of sales. So you can see that the maximum price of item by unit price was $66.62. So now I want to know which item is that. We want to know the type of clients, the store that the item is coming from, and things like that. So how do we now actually find out about that information? So this is also a filter we're also going to be applied to this place. So I'm going to say sales. First of all, I'm going to say sales. Then use the dollar sign to filter the unit price. I'm going to say sales unit price. So it is going to filter for any product that has a unit price of 66.62. So it is going to filter for any product that has that particular unit price of 66.62. So you can see now it is returning a logical statement. It's going to check each row and see if that particular row has a product of unit price of, has a transaction of unit price of 66.62. That's the unit price of that particular item. This has already checked each particular observation. It's going to find out that one of them is going to be true. So we're now going to use our square brackets to filter out that particular observation and get all the columns related to it. So when I run this now, you can see the item. Let me expand this. So you can see now this is the item that we're interested in. So it filtered for items sales unit price, which is close to 66.62. It's going to check each observation and it's returning false for most of them, except only one. And that particular one, when we use our square brackets, we are going to get all the details regarding that particular item. So you can see date, warehouse, client type, product line. So we can now know that, okay, the item with the maximum unit price, as it was purchased in 6 quantity, it belongs to the product line, it belongs to the product line engine, and also other details like that. So this also is just what we have been doing. I might skip over this. It's just also a filtering. You can see now total sales made in each particular warehouse. So I'm just going to do only for the central warehouse. So it was also the same thing I did in the north and also in the west, north and west warehouses. So we want to find also the total sales that is made in each particular warehouse. I think this was what I did earlier on in this place. So it's similar to what I did here, except that in this place, it wasn't warehouse, it was payments I used. So I used sales payments by cash, so instead of warehouse. So if you check the script after the session, you can also try it and see it's just the same thing. In the other one, I used the payments type and I used cash. So here is the warehouse and also the central. I can use it to get the total sales made in each particular warehouse. So next about is visualization. So one thing with R is that R sometimes we need what we call packages. So the thing is that most of these operations that are performed, the code to perform, sometimes these operations are usually a function is created from these operations. So instead of repeating a long operation that someone has already done, so someone is just going to create a function so that when you use that particular function, like this sales now, like this sum function that we're using is a function. So a collection is what makes a function, while a collection of functions is what also makes a package. So the package we're going to be using for visualization is called the library ggplot2. So the thing is that if you don't have this library on your PC, so you can use the install.packages, but you have to be connected to the internet. Install.packages ggplot. On this particular code, install.packages ggplot2 is going to install the package ggplot2 on your R for you. So when you install this particular package, you can be able to use all the functions that are available in that particular package. Without installing this package, you cannot be able to use these functions. Even if you run it, it's going to return an error because it's not going to see any function. So now I already have it installed on my PC. So what I'm going to do that after installing a library, you have to load it. So I'm just going to load the library now. Library ggplot2 and run it. So you can see that it has already is giving me a warning. So which means that package has already been loaded. So now we want to visualize, we want to create a visualization. So there are many functions which you can use to create visualization. So, but a quick one which so this is a little bit elementary, is the qplot function. So it allows you to, from the name qplot, means quick. So you just create a quick plot which allows you to just see that, okay, these are the kind of exploration that I can make on my data. These are kind of things I can also see on my data. So now how to visualize against total. So I want to see like, okay, this is like a bar chart. I want to see I want to see the total. That is the total that was made in each particular warehouse. So which warehouse have the highest total, which warehouse have the lowest total. So I'm going to use the qplot function. I'm going to give the argument s is equals to warehouse. So because this is the name of your variable. So if I'm to use capital letter now, because R is case sensitive, if I'm to use capital letter now, it's going to return an error. So if I replace this lowercase w to uppercase w, I'm not going to get what I want. So the what you are going to be typing as your X value should be strictly the same what is on your data set variable name. So I'm going to give X is equals to warehouse, then Y is equals to total. So I'm going to give Y is equal to total, and I'm going to give the data. So the data that we're working with is sales data. So what I try now to do is that, okay, I want you to plot a plot for me. Sorry, I haven't given the name of the plot, so I'm going to be plotting. I'm going to call it a column chart. So that's what I'm going to be plotting. So what I'm telling R now to basically do is that, okay, please plot me a bar plot. That is by using this argument. And this bar plot, I want the x-axis to be the warehouse, and I want the y-axis to be the total, and all these are going to be getting it from the data called sales. So when I run this now, you can see I'm actually having the data. So you might be asking now, it's showing in scientific format. So this is just to tell us that, okay, this is $100,000. This is 50,000 and so forth. So this is just in the scientific format. This can actually for now. So now this chart, and I can see that the chart is looking a little bit dull now. So how can we change it? It's just showing in gray scale. That is, do we now make this chart to appear much more colorful? So this is where you can add another argument. I'm going to add close to the Y. That's close to the Y-axis. I'm going to give a fill. So the fill is going to be the warehouse. So what I'm giving this fill is to give color to the chart. I'm going to give a fill, which is going to be our warehouse. So you can now see that colors have appeared on the chart. So it looks much more better. It looks much more colorful. So now you can now know the warehouse actually made more sales. Another warehouse, and another warehouse also made more sales than the warehouse which is located at the western region.
Excuse me, can I ask a question?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, hi, this is Ankit. I was asking, is there a way to combine the functions from this tidy, say ggplot and the basic R functions, like basic plotting functions, like bar plot or something?
Okay, sorry, I don't get you. Can come again?
Oh yeah, so I'm saying, is there a way, like, is it necessary, like, do we ever have to, use this, like say this is a function from ggplot, right? Qplot. So is there a, like, will it ever occur that we need to, combine the functions from R, basic R as well as this?
Okay, are you asking why we're not using the, are you, sorry, please, can you come again, please? Sorry, come again.
Yeah, I'm saying, will there be a need to, combine the basic R functions with these advanced features like Qplot and all?
Yeah, you can actually come. That's a much more advanced. So you can, all those other functions which you have already explained earlier on, you can actually combine them together to get a plot. So you can actually filter a data and also combine it to make a plot from that particular subsetted data. But these are like somehow much more advanced area of R. So since we are just starting out, that's why I'm even starting with the Qplot function.
Okay, understood. Yes, thank you.
I don't know if I've answered your question, please. Have I answered the question, please? Okay, let me move on.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the answer.
Okay. So the next visualization I'm going to be making now, okay, let's see the payment system with the highest transaction tool. So this is similar to what we just did in this place now. So I want to see the payment system with the highest transaction. So we're going to say Qplot. So X is going to be where is going to be payment. So that is going to be our X-axis. Then Y is going to be total. Or let me just give the data, which is going to be sales. Then Geo, which is the type of plot we want, which is a column plot. So when we run this now, we get the column. You can see that you can see the payment system with the most transaction. with the most transaction by client type. So we want to know the client types, the type of payment system they used. So in the previous analysis we just did now, which was that of the warehouse, I used field, which goes to warehouse. So that situation, field was the same variable that was used as field was also the same variable that was used as x-axis. So that's why you can see that we only have. For this time around, I'm going to be giving field as client type. So field is going to be client. Okay. Sorry. So it's supposed to be showing this. So I'm supposed to be expecting a grouped bar plot. So I was also expecting a group bar plot, but though it's still returning a simple bar. Most of all, when it comes to visualization with ggplot2 library, the ggplot function is usually used at this particular qplot that we are using. So when it comes to creating complex bar plots, maybe that would, you can add field to your visualization that you are performing using the field argument. You can also see the other arguments that we have, like X the data and sales. You can also see other arguments related to this particular function using the question mark. So if you run a question mark on your qplot function, you can see more details regarding it. Around the qplots. So we usually call this the documentation. It allows you to see details about this particular plot. We only use few from this particular argument. You can see a lot of arguments. You can also see examples related to that particular function. So the question mark, you can see a lot of details regarding that particular function. So same. So the sum functions, and at the end, you can see examples related to the sum functions. So scripts, when you see a new function in a particular script and you want to know more about that particular function or how you can work with that particular function, you use the question mark before that particular function to get a brief documentation. All of these documentation are also available online, while a summary of them is also available in R. So you can just have a glimpse on it. See that running the question mark on top of the qplot, you can see we have the details about all the arguments that are in this particular function. Also below, you can see examples below regarding to this particular function. So you can see the different use cases of this particular function. So that's all for now for just performing basic data R. So a quick summary is we explained how we can use the square brackets and also the $ when it comes to filtering the columns, or you are filtering the rows of your data. I also use the qplot function, which belongs to the ggplot2 function to perform data visualization on your data sets. I need to point out also in your data set. So you can actually export your data set. So you can see save as image. So by clicking save this particular plot, so I can just call it now payments, bar plots, or let me just say payments, bar plots. See, it's going to save it as a PNG format, and this is also the width or the height of the image. So if I increase this, you can see that this also is going to be increasing automatically. So you want your image to be. So when you save it, it's going to save it back to your project directory. So you go to your project directory now. Try to see the file when it's saved. Okay, yeah, so here is it. So you can see the file now, directory, payments bar.plt.png. So this is how you can store your outputted, this is how you can store your outputted plots. So I think we'll move to the Q&A session. If anybody have a question.
Yes, I have a question. I already typed it. Thank you so much, everyone. And,
Okay. Okay.
it's been a bit fast, but at least the points are well taken. So I try to follow. I have a data called state data.csv. I saved it. I loaded it using sales, $ dash reads.csv, then the state.csv file. It loaded well, no issues. But when I tried to view it using the command view state data.csv, it gave me errors.
So you, if I get it right,
chat,
so
I
you are
already
trying to view it.
type my comment in the chat so you can easily understand what I just said.
Okay, okay, let me check it. Sorry, let me check it. Okay, I loaded it. It's read.csv, state data.csv. So, okay. So the mistake you made here was that you're not supposed to put quotation mark. In fact, what is supposed to be
there
in
was
your
no
bracket?
quotation. Okay, no quotation mark in the view state data.
Yeah, it's like two. Let me just give the answer. Not the name of the file that's supposed to be in the view function. So I'm supposed to be having view sales.
I tried view sales, it still didn't work.
Okay, that view, when you are naming your variable,
Sorry.
what I'm seeing here, as if you put a quotation mark, I don't know.
No, I didn't put. No, okay, yeah. When I was loading sales read CSV, state data.csv, state data.csv is in quotation marks.
That's
But
the name of the
initial
file, right?
quotation marks before sales, that one is not part of it. I just put it for you to be able to understand.
Okay. Now, so the sales is the name of the variable that you have.
Yes, CSV. Okay, I'll just see. This is what I loaded. All right, see, sales. This is exactly what I did.
Okay.
It went through. I saw the variables. I saw the data, 48 objects and 22 variables loaded.
This is what you're going to use, view sales.
And it didn't
you can
come
see
out.
that, right?
I tried. Yes, I tried, but it didn't
Not
work.
come out. What is returning?
Let me try again so I'll tell you. It says in error in view sales could not find function view.
Did you use lowercase or uppercase v?
Lowercase. Should it be uppercase?
Yes, it should be uppercase.
Oh, okay, sorry. Maybe that was a mistake.
I think it should be showing by now.
I'm trying it again. Oh yes, awesome. So it was
So please, R is case sensitive, so you have to be very careful. So some functions start with uppercase, so you have to be using it like that. Same thing to apply for variables. So if I use a variable called, for example, if I say view sales now, okay, let me go to my console. So if I say view sales now, so you can see sales not found. Even though the spelling and everything is the same, you can see it's telling me that sales, because I started with uppercase. Why I try view sales, you can see it's going to tell me that okay, the variable sales is going to display the variable sales for me. So R is case sensitive. Is one thing that one needs to, whether you store your variable in uppercase or lowercase, so that's what I'm going to be using throughout. Also, the same thing to apply to function, just like what happened now. You use a function in lowercase.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell me that will not find the function view. So you have to start with an uppercase. So R is case sensitive.
Okay, thank you. One last question. Yes, one more question for me. This ggplot2. So we'll go to packages on the AROS website and download it.
No, you just need to use this command I showed you now.
I tried, it didn't come out on my system, so it's not on my computer. Oh, install. Okay, sorry, I didn't see that one.
Yes, install those packages, this particular command. So the name of the package you want is going to be in quotation marks here. So once you run this code, it's going to install it on your PC.
Okay, install. Any other person can go ahead with the question. I'm working on what
Is there any other question, please, from the house?
Okay. Sorry, can I come in now?
Okay, no problem.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ridwan. Thank you. Still, please stay there for questions, but we want to use the time well because it's past 12 now. So we plan to stop by 12, but I want to use this opportunity to just say a big thank you to all those who registered and also participated in the program today, workshop. So we're really appreciative of your time. So as a reminder, there's still going to be another class tomorrow. So in that class, we're going to use Python. So we're not going to use R. We've dealt with R. So we're going to use Python tomorrow for the class. So we're going to do the same analysis, look at the data and look at different ways we can work with data in using Python. So please, tomorrow's class starts by 2. So, and it's going to end by 4 p.m. So we'll stay because we want to allow everybody to be part of it. So those, if you're going to church, if you're going to the mosque, everybody will believe that range of hour is okay with everybody. So we're going to do it between 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. West African time. So for those who are joining us outside Nigeria, so it's going to be 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. West African time. So please note that down. We're going to send email to tell you how to get in to connect to the class tomorrow by God's grace. So please take that note. Then we also want to inform you, if you want to go ahead with getting the skills that you require, you can also register for a class that is going to start in January 2023 with us. So we're going to be happy to have you join the class, and we're willing to be part of your journey to start a new career. So we're going to share the link to our website on in the chat. So we're kind of rebranding and working towards 2023. So all our courses are not on the website yet, but you have that of data analytics there. So watch out and look at some of our courses. We also have courses on Scrum. So we have courses for Scrum Master, Scrum Product Owner. We also have the Agile coaching. So all these are packages that we have for you. So we look forward to getting you on board. So for all those who register for the workshop, we're going to give special discounts for all the costs that you want to register. So we have your email and we're looking forward to you joining the class. So we'll give discounts to only those who register for this, or you make a reference or referral. So thank you so much. So if you have any question, please kindly let us have the questions so that we can answer your
share details of the costs.
Yeah, we are going to do that. We're going to do that.
And the duration.
Everything, we're going to do that.
You sent to us by mail?
No, I'm going to do that. So we're going to do that. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So do we have questions so that Ridwan can take it up from here? Questions, comments? Okay. So so Fahida, are you still there? So we look forward to tomorrow's class, and we'll be recording. We'll send the recordings, the slides, everything to you. So we'll get you ready for tomorrow. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. So till tomorrow.